Hey folks, welcome back. It's Lucid and we're jumping back into our game with Lemuria. And god, the Diplo in this game is really heating up. So I've got a new turn for you, and I spent more time doing Diplo yesterday. Just talking with people. There's a bunch of shit that's happening, even since when I recorded last episode. So I'm going to run through some of that. Actually, let me just pull up last turn. And then I'll show you this one. So this turn you've already seen before, but I just want to pull it up because I want to talk about some of the Diplo, how it was, before you see what's happened. Okay, here we go. I think this was the last turn. Okay, so we saw Calum building up forces. Pythium tells me that he needs to go into a fake war with me, because he wants to attack Atlantis, because it's a fucking awesome matchup for him. He'll just... Late Age Atlantis is a very strong nation, but they have one particular vulnerability to poison, that if you don't take it in their bless, you don't really have any counters for a long time, until you can get, like, Serpent's Blessing and Mass Regen, which, on a nation without any basic nature access, and on a nation that probably doesn't want to go enchant 8 that much... Like, it's a nation that likes enchant 6, and potentially enchant 7. Anyway. But they have a bunch of other stuff they want, too. So anyway, it's a pretty good matchup, because basically, Pythium just Val Vapors them, and then they win. They want to do this. Well, there have been things that have happened. So, Pythium was going to attack Atlantis with the help of Calum. And Calum is right here, so Calum would be raiding Atlantis from the north. You can see Midgard in there fucking with Atlantis, because Atlantis was like the third person to triple team them. So, Atlantis says, hey, you're going to attack me, Calum? Because I think they had a nap and Calum ended it. You're going to attack me, this is going to make all this space for Lemuria. And I need to fight Lemuria, but I can't fight Lemuria if you're going to fight me. And this has been Atlantis' message to Pythium earlier, because Pythium, I think, was discussing attacking him. And he's like, if you fight me, then I can't fight Lemuria. At the time when he told Pythium that, he didn't even have a border with me. He only got a border with me once he killed this throne. And once I took this stuff from Phlegra, which I kind of barely am hanging on to right now. So anyway, that was what he said to kind of secure peace, that he was going to be the warrior against Lemuria. Well... Calum has then... So he told this to Calum, who was going to attack him. And Calum has bought in. And Calum has told Pythium that he's going to go to war against Pythium in conjunction with Atlantis if Pythium doesn't attack me. Now, forget the fact that it's not really a great matchup for Pythium. Pythium can basically do... banishment communions, and that's about it. They're going to be resistant to like foul vapors and stuff I can do. But if I throw enough ghosts at it, I can basically kill all their mages once I have Rigor Mortis. And then with anti-magic and stuff, I'm not exact... Ghosts have pretty high MR. Like, they're not like 10 or something, right? It's 13 and then -1 in drain. But anyway, it's going to be 16 with anti-magic up. They're not going to melt. They will die to banishment communions, but they're not going to melt. Anyway, not an awesome matchup. Like, his Hydras aren't very good, his poison stuff's not very good. He basically just has, like, some Astral stuff he can do. And that goes a long way. But, he doesn't have magic weapon troops. All this land is fucking worth nothing to him. It's going to be extreme, like, it's all 500 siege strength forts that he's going to have to try to plow through, so it's going to be extremely hard. And it's probably not going to work. Okay. But they're like, hey, you need to attack him or we're going to attack you. Which sucks. From Pythium's perspective, he was thinking, hey, I'm going to have this nice 2v1 against Atlantis with Calum helping. Well, now it's looking like, hey, shit, maybe I might have a 2v1 against me. I mean, me being Pythium. And so he tells me he wants to get in a fake war where he'll, like, come sit on top of my fort or something. I was like, look, dude, like, first of all, like, the fake war will... if I start raiding you and stuff, like, which is what it would have to be if it were a fake war, if we actually wanted to convince anybody, like, that would be pretty annoying for you, because you need to preach and get my dominion out. I don't really want to raid you if you're sitting here preaching, trying to kind of keep my shitty dominion out of your lands. And, like, we would have to, I don't know, like, probably have fights for it to be convincing at all. I don't know, it just doesn't seem like it's going to be terribly easy to sell to have a fake war. And meanwhile, I don't think you actually need one. And my thinking is that, few things. One, if I attack Atlantis and I attack Calum, and all he really has to do is just say he's not ready. He needs to pick some research, pull this up, pick some school that you think you need to fight me. So you need Firestorm or something before I can fight Lemuria, right? And, or, you know, maybe something that seems a little closer, right? So you need to get to it, and that you'll join as soon as that's done. Right, so you just say that. Now, what are the odds that, like, Atlantis is going to attack you while I'm attacking Atlantis? There's zero. He's not going to do it. What are the odds that Calum is going to attack you? Calum actually might. Calum's the one that he has to worry about. The other people who were threatening to potentially attack him was Marignon. Marignon was like, I'm going to attack you if you don't attack Atlantis. Well, I am plenty... Now, I am not terribly excited about a war with Atlantis. It's a really hard matchup for me. I am plenty fine with a war with Marignon. It doesn't mean it's going to be a cakewalk, but there's a lot of water he can't take his mages to, so basically I'm going to immediately take all this water from him. I'm going to raid him. He's not going to have his mages anywhere. I'm totally fine with a war with Marignon, and I will attack Marignon to keep them off of Pythium. I will protect people who are actually going to stay my allies, because it's a value to me to not have to fight on literally every front. Plus, like, this actually would be, like, my income would go up attacking Marignon. Atlantis is going to be more trouble than it's worth, but I'll raid Atlantis. They can go get wrecked. Anyway. So that was basically what we were talking about. Now I want to go back to our, like, the real turn. And I don't even know if that's all the Diplo. Diplo's been kind of crazy. So, here's the real turn. And things have happened. The other thing was, because Caitlin was talking like this, like, hey, I'm going to attack you if you don't attack Lemuria, I assumed that all these forces we saw from Calum down here were destined for me. Now that said, because I didn't know if Agartha saw this build up here, I messaged Agartha and I told him, hey dude, I know these two are working together, so I'm pretty sure these guys aren't about to attack Pythium. So they're either going to attack my throne or they're going to attack you. Well, it turns out that these flying motherfuckers, they were threatening Pythium, that if he doesn't attack me, they're going to attack him. Meanwhile, they've got expansion plans for Agartha, right? So they want to go attack Agartha. Well, look, Agartha has bought my alliance, and he doesn't have to pay me a bribe. He just has been a fucking awesome ally. So we're going to come in here with the Timu, and we're going to kick these guys off. We're going to watch all the battles and stuff, but Calum also has his main army here on top of 132, and there's an Agarthan fort here that he's sieging. So Agartha's going to go move to defend this. I'm going to try to help with knocking some raiders off. Calum can go get wrecked. I'll probably raid this and some other stuff here too, just to fuck with them. But I got to be a little careful because he can seeking arrow my dudes. Anyway, but Timu will wreck these guys. There's no this army right here has no mage support. I don't think he's going to keep these guys on it. I think they're going to move, but whatever. It'll give me 1 turn of income on top of this fort, and it's going to help Agartha because I'll just be able to hop off of it. What I imagine is there's going to be one dude. Either way, Timu doesn't give a fuck. He respawns in 1 turn. He's got 10 gems of gear on. Let's watch the battles, though. So there's a battle in Bogarus. And Bogarus, actually, this is more than normal cap PD, I think. I think this is close to 35, maybe? 35 PD? This is a lot of troops. We can actually do a test game real quick. I'm kind of interested to see how much PD he put. We end up losing here. We were in a sparse line, which was a good idea because we got into flank the archers and stuff, but we just didn't have enough troops. Right, that's severely outnumbered. You can see it's 129 troops. One second. I know y'all probably aren't as interested in this as me, but I'm kind of interested. So, and it only takes a second to find out. Oh shit, that's a lot. Okay, so this is... Oh, 1 second. Oh, I don't have a debug mod on. 6, 12... Jeez, that's a lot of troops. Well, we can count by how many axemen there are. Right, so if there's 6 axemen, we get 1 more for each point we put in. If there's 6 axemen, then we know how many. The swordsman, Peshti City Guard. Yeah, okay. Boy Axeman is 14. Okay, yeah, so it is about what I thought. There would only be 6 of these if it was 25, and then it's 1 more for each point put in. So it's like, yeah. It's like 33 or something. And it could just be from events. We might have actually won if it was just 25, but it's probably the difference of like 35 troops or something, him bumping it up. So anyway, that's what we're dealing with. There's battle here in Bogarus. I have some retarded... I have some not very intelligent formation here for my guys. Get these idiots out in front. Fortunately, they don't die. So anyway, we take that. Here we clear the mist-covered highlands event dudes. We actually get attacked there by Indies again. These are the mist-covered highlands. Here you can see they spawn phantasmal beasts. This means we're getting close to the end of the event chain. I think there's maybe 1 more event left. Which is nice. We've taken control of a couple provinces, 3 provinces that didn't have any PD in it. So he's really being lax. Honestly, this is one of the signs of, like, either not caring, like giving up, or... I don't know. You always want to have 1 PD in a province. Always, always, always. So, anyway. And the armies of Bogarus have moved out. They have not stayed in this farmland. So this is this big, scary Doomstack. And he's found my 1 PD and proceeds to absolutely destroy it. Like nuclear weapon style destruction for my 1 PD. Phlegra attacks me. They moved their big army on top of the fort that I had sieged, but I have moved in my army. And so this is going to be round 2 of huge non-magic weapon human army versus even larger undead army. And it's an undead army with unholy power. So those guys get the wisest idea to peace out. Meanwhile, we've got the flanking crew coming in. These archers are going to start running. And a lot of them will actually make it off, but some of them will get surrounded. And like that, they disappear. So the final battle total for that, only 30 dudes left. This is the AI, by the way. He went AI when he was down to like 1 fort, which I think is fine. And he asked. I mean, he kind of said he was, but it was polite. And the right time. And it did make it easier for us, too, so we certainly weren't opposed to it. But there was nothing he could have done. I mean, he would have traded a little bit better as a player, but not much better. And then here we have, we sent Archchronics on a mission, mostly to get a heroic trait, but also as a secondary objective to kill the big white bull. And he went in here. Now there's some problems that are going to happen. And the main problem that's going to happen is somebody back here is summoning Phantasmal Warriors. And these guys are going to distract Archchronics from his mission on high. But, you know, he has inflicted bleeding on this guy, so he's his fatigue is going a little crazy, and you can see he passes out here. But Archchronics isn't attacking him anymore, so he's like, okay, I'm fine. And we're getting, like, more and more Phantasmal Warriors. And so this is a problem, because they appear to be coming faster than we can deal with them. But, eventually, the way attacking works is that you preferentially attack in front or behind of you. And then if that doesn't work, then you'll attack on the sides. The problem is that if the bull gets in front and I attack the bull, as soon as the bull wakes up, he will trample my ass and then move to a different tile. So it's not terribly likely that he stays in front, unless he comes in front, passes the fuck out, I put bleeding on him, which is what my weapon does. He stays passed out, and then I murder him to death. Now he's in front, we've got bleeding, and he's passed out. So the profuse bleeding is going to cause HP and fatigue loss every round. And he's stuck in front of me now. And now it's just a moment of... It's the matter of a few moments before we kill him. And the second that we killed him, the armies break because it causes an HP rout. So we just killed these Phantasmal Warriors. They can't move anymore because they're magic beings without magic leadership. And all their commanders make it off the field. So, a little annoying. But we got a dancing shield too. I didn't even notice that. That's actually super nice. How did I not notice that? I got this from a random event. The guy carrying it got murdered in a very valiant attempt to fight off an entire army. And that shield immediately got put on the bull. And the bull's been running around causing me trouble. Now, I've killed the bull and gotten it back. So it's going to be interesting to follow the storyline of this dancing shield. So that was the battle in Phlegra. The Earth Snake. These are always funny to watch. Another duel versus 1 PD. The problem is my guy always charges in eventually. And he needs to not. Here he actually would probably kill the Earth Snake. Because he's got him passed out with the chill aura. The problem is the Earth Snake has a fear aura and will eventually kill him. So, yeah. The Earth Snake. We have a message from Phlegra. You've killed our god. Coming down for events. This is the Phantasmal Warriors and Beasts are emerging in great numbers from the mist-covered highlands. Magic is suffusing the realm. We got some air gems. We got some earth gems. And then one of Skakhog's viceroys has attacked my province. Means we got attacked by Sea Kings. Interesting. Having the real PvE experience right here. On my side, I've got a bunch of ghosts. And sea trolls are pretty good, but ghosts are pretty good underwater too. It's a little close, but once we get them adequately surrounded, they break and then we kill them. So, we lost 10 units. A little annoying. And then a bunch of forts finish. We breached... Well, we'll just come do this other stuff. Archchronics did get a heroic trait. He got Valor, which kind of sucks, I'm not gonna lie. But, you know, it's okay. I mean, we can have him lead our troops around, and he'll give them morale bonuses, and that does matter. So it's not horrible. But it means he's not really going to be in the super combatant role, probably. And then Scassius is back. Scassius has had a bad run of luck lately. He's got Never Healing Wound 2, which puts his 5 HP down to a rather measly 3. Which is odd, because a 20% reduction of 5 is only 1. So, that's Dominion's math there for you. Either way, he is at 3 HP, and we'll do with him what we can. You know, actually, he'll be kind of okay versus birds. No, maybe we bring him over here to deal with Marignon. Well, Marignon's gonna have a crossbow, so he'll do not as well. Well, I don't actually know if he'll do well versus birds. We're gonna move over here. So, what are we doing this turn? Well, thing is, and I know it seems, some of y'all are probably thinking, like, how on earth has Lucid not been getting ganged up on by more people? Like, why haven't other people attacked him? Well, there's two main reasons. Nobody on the whole map wants to fight Lemuria as their first major war, except for these two guys who are now dead. We have turned the really big Lemuria coalition, and we have rebranded it as really big Lemuria. But nobody wants to do that. Some people are probably going to. Like, it makes sense to do it over here. So it makes sense, by the way, for Marignon and Atlantis to attack me. If I were them, I would probably really want to team up and attack. Unfortunately for Atlantis, he's probably going to get wrecked by Pythium. And then I'll probably raid the oceans. For Gath and Arco could attack me. It makes some sense, but it would only make sense really right now that, like in the past, like 3 or 4 turns, once it was extremely clear Phlegra was going to fall. You could argue once I took this fort it was clear, but I really just outpositioned his armies. And I haven't even really had that big of a fight with Phlegra. Like, I never fought Phlegra's Doomstack, and he's conquered. So that was really just army maneuvering. So all for that time, it wasn't super clear, you know, like, should Arco conquer Phlegra? Should Arco attack me? Doesn't make sense for Arco to attack through our original border, which was right here. So Arco was like, let me get a little bigger, eat some of Gath, and then I'm going to come have a piece of Lemuria. I mean, all those things make sense. Nobody really wants to do it while they're small. Because, like, it would be horrible. Can you imagine being, like, a one-cap nation, eating part of Lemuria, and then trying to, like, hold on to it or wage your next war? Yeah. It's not good. It's not good. As somebody who has conquered Lemuria before, only to lose the game, there's this one game I subbed into, and I was playing Late Age Phlegra, and I basically completely conquered Lemuria. And Lemuria was bigger than I am right now. Like, they were the biggest player on the map. And I conquered all of them. But then it's like, how do you hold this land? Like, most of it was 0 population. You can't even put PD in it. It doesn't generate you any income, but you feel the need to defend it because it generates some gems. But you have to commit troops, and you can't recruit troops over there because there's no population. It becomes this, like, nightmare logistics situation where you're trying to, like, you can't make troops, you can't make PD, you kind of want to defend it because it's the only kind of spoils you got from all this effort you put into conquering Lemuria. Yeah. Anyway. What else? So yeah, you may be asking yourself, why haven't people ganged up? Well, I'm telling you, people are... There's huge talk of the coalition going on. Like, Marignon is begging all of my neighbors to attack me. I haven't heard any word from Satis. I have no idea what Satis is up to. Atlantis has been talking since the beginning of the game about how he's upset he didn't spawn next to me so he couldn't kill me. And every single time it comes up in Diplo, when somebody's going to attack him, it's, hey, don't attack me so I can attack Lemuria. Arco I've just remained at peace with, but I think they would turn on me as soon as their war with Gath ends. Agartha, I have had good luck in having a friendly neighbor. But it's going to work out for him, and I'm going to do my best to pay him back. I'm sending him 100 gold every turn, by the way, to pay for priests on this border. Some of it will probably just go into fighting Calum now, but that's also cool. I'm much more happy having Agartha as a neighbor than having Calum. And so I'm actively going to protect Agartha. Like, having this ally is super valuable to me. So, anyway, yeah, we're gonna mess with Calum. The other thing that messing with Calum is going to accomplish, it's going to accomplish me a couple things. One is it's going to protect, hopefully, to a degree, my ally. Agartha also expressed interest in attacking and eating Calum for himself. So anything I can do to kind of help him, I'll be happy to. But, like, one thing I'm going to do, we're going to try to kill these guys. Then we're going to raid here. This is going to accomplish me a couple things. Not only am I protecting Agartha, but by fucking with Calum, I'm going to make the coast much more clear for Pythium to attack Atlantis. And that is something that is going to help me a great deal, because Atlantis is probably my worst matchup in the game. Yeah. Now, this is going to invite... this is going to invite some... I might get attacked by Calum, and that could suck, because I could lose troops and potentially mages. But all this turmoil that basically got caused last turn, with the diplomacy breaking down, and these guys saying they might need to have a fake war with me, which, look, guys, that's one step away from a real war. So there's a decent chance these guys actually do end up attacking me. I don't think it's going to happen. But there's also a chance that Calum attacks me, so I'm going to have to basically militarize this border anyway. So if I'm militarizing this border, I might as well be raiding him, and I might as well be protecting my ally, and I might as well be... This basically is going to protect both my allies. Right? Pythium is my other ally. I feel like Pythium is a much more begrudging ally than Agartha. But anyway, they still are an ally. Anyway, it's going to allow them to attack Atlantis. So, what do we do in this portion of the world? This is... Okay, well, there's a few things that are going to happen, potentially. One, we can see Atlantis took this fort from from Bogarus, which we had agreed to. The problem is this army can sail, and I have the distinct feeling that this army is going to try to kick me off this throne. This fort. We do not have a nap. I'm not going to ask him for a nap, because I know he's going to deny it. And he's got a lot of underwater forts too, damn. He cannot, I don't know how he can recruit enough stuff. Like, he's probably super gold strapped. He's probably only got... I bet you he's only got like 1,500 income. Probably 1,500 income? That's not enough to make stuff out of... I know he's got a fort here too, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, he can't produce out of 8 forts. He can't even produce mages out of 8 forts. But the way Atlantis wants to do it is do mages in the underwater forts, and then other dudes in the land forts, and then your troops in the land forts. But anyway, I have a strong suspicion he is going to want to attack me here. It just makes a ton of sense. I haven't taken the fort yet. He doesn't have to worry about sieging it down. He's going to be like, I have all these magic weapon troops. We'll just chop through them. There's some things I have going for me. One is its heat dominion, which normally is not a great thing for Lemuria, but versus Atlantis it is. It's going to lower their protection. 2, I've got Pendragon here, and Pendragon is my prophet. And so what that means is he's going to do Unholy Power on everybody. Power of the Shadelands. So that's pretty nice. And the other thing is I've got Archchronics coming in, and Archchronics is going to be in just beast mode here. I don't think I have a pearl for him, no. But he's basically going to get +7 attack, so he's going to be 26 attack with a length 5 weapon. And then with troops mixed around him, he's going to be basically immune to enemy troops. And he's going to be pretty killy and kill basically one dude a turn. He's basically going to be on Unholy Blessing attack. And then I've got just a lot of troops. I've got him significantly outnumbered. With Unholy Blessing, a lot of his guys are swords too. If we look here. Oh no, these are the glaive guys. I could have sworn they were swords. Oh, so he's gotten the glaive guys. Okay, so I'm not going to get a repel. That's unfortunate. But what I've done is a few things. One is I put more of my guys on fire. Because I'm less worried about flanking, because fighting Atlantis, he doesn't really have archers. I still want to flank to kind of get at the commanders. But what I care more about is getting the javelin shots off. Whereas like versus Marignon and Phlegra and Bogarus, who've got big archer cores, you can't both throw your javelin, at least I haven't figured out a way to throw your javelin easily and to flank. Like, if there were an order, chunk your javelin when you get in range, but then otherwise attack rear, I would do it. But if you put your thing on fire, you won't attack rear. Like, you can't do fire rear. It's grayed out. Because not only can you not tell your guys to shoot at the rear, you can't tell them to flank after they're done firing, if that makes sense. So anyway, we switched to a mostly fire script, and hopefully that will kind of help with, us having the numbers advantage. Also, I have Uvatha, who's kind of a badass. He's got a dust dagger and a shield. And with extraordinary agility, he's at 25 defense. So it's going to be pretty hard for those guys to actually hit him. These guys only have... They don't have, like, ridiculous attack. These are the guys he's using. It's 12. So almost none of the hits are actually going to land against Uvatha. And he's going to kill one guy a turn. He'll kind of get repelled, but he has really good defense, so it's not really going to happen. And it pretty good morale, so he's not really going to get repelled. He'll kill one dude a turn. Then I've got these, the two guys who are not, my two consuls who are not set up as thugs. They're set up as casters. They're going to do Protection of the Shadelands twice, and then they're going to spam Apostasy. Actually, I can script it, but... And hopefully that will steal some of their... I don't even see it here. Their Akanukes, or whatever they're called. Now, there's a decent chance, because Atlantis is still dealing with Midgard, that they might not come from me yet. And they might have to deal with Pythium. I don't know what where Pythium's armies are or anything like that. I've only got one. I probably should make another scout. Let's not make the scout here. Let's make the scout. I'm not sure. Anyway, I want to have more vision over here. I just don't really have it right now. Let's see, I'm gonna scout there. One thing that is pretty cool is I can make a shit ton of crossbowmen here. So we're going to be pumping them out. If I have 100 crossbowmen behind an army, Atlantis can really eat it at that point. So we're going to... That's the main value of this fort now, actually, is just making crossbowmen. There's also... So, anyway, short summary. I think we are assuming that Atlantis is going to attack us here. This is one of those things he may not, and we may do all this preparation. It may not amount to anything. We're also storming the castle. This is a very high income province. It's pretty high unrest, so we're going to have to spend a turn patrolling it afterwards. But this is going to easily be like 150, 160, maybe even 200 with the arena income province once we patrol it. And storm the fort. Finally, this is the last Phlegran province, and so we'll probably take it. He could take these guys and move them somewhere else, in which case I'll be chasing him around for a couple more turns. But if I kill all of Phlegra's stuff, all his candles are going to disappear, which means my Dominion is going to push much more quickly through all of the Phlegra's lands. So it's going to be time. Once that happens, we're just going to roll with it. Our income's going to start dropping dramatically. We'll put temples up in these forts as it, this is going to get spread to really quickly. All of that. So, this also is a new fort. So the fort's coming up. I've got a fort coming up here this turn. I got a fort coming up here this turn. With Bogarus moving this army north, I thought it was safe to start a fort here. There's a fort coming up here. So I've got right now 5 forts in construction, which is a lot. And I think that's going to have me set for a little bit. My fort construction's kind of lumpy. Like, if you look at it, it's not a super smooth graph. It kind of goes up and then flat for a bit, and then up and then up and then up and then flat. And it's been flat for a couple turns. It's about to go up again a lot. But then it's probably going to stay flat as I upgrade all the forts and put infrastructure in them. And unfortunately, that means the Dominion is going to disappear out of Phlegra. And what that means is, well, my candles are going to start getting in Phlegra in probably like 4 turns. And that's going to be the beginning of the end for this 250 income, which is unfortunate. We're also getting very close to the point where Enchantments can pop his head out. So we're probably going to get attacked by Enchantments in the next 10 turns. So anyway, I might have to put PD here. I think probably 15 PD will be able to kill Enchantments, or maybe 20. Because he's not going to do any spells, he's just going to run into combat. We'll see. I don't know if I want to put that money in PD, though. I'm going to just use ghosts. So, anyway, we've talked about the Atlantis situation. We've talked about this. Coming down here, Marignon did a reasonable amount of dudes here, but again, I don't see any evidence of mage support. And he moved his thrice-horned boar, aka My Only Hope, which is pretty hilarious, down into the water. So he's got a scuba pig. So I had a big... This whole army was over here this past turn. So what I'll probably let him do... well, we're going to patrol here. I want to get the unrest out of the Barren Crags. I kind of wanted to attack the wolves. But I'm kind of going to have a ceasefire with Marignon for the time being. I'll let him attack me, and then that'll be justification for raiding. But I have decision... So anyway, this is happening, and it looks like this war is going to escalate. Up here, though, this is the really tricky situation. So I've got this big army that I've moved up here, and these are people that I basically... You remember, he was pushing south. He had 2 armies pushing south, and I snuck these to, like, retake provinces behind him. And then I... One turn popped... not one turn. I popped this fort. Meanwhile, his armies were, like, down here and out of position. Well, Agartha moved on top of it, because I was going to leave it for them. And now... these armies have moved off. Well, I failed to take his cap. Well, the PD outside his cap. But these guys and them breaking this fort have basically given... This gives us some insight into Bogarus's mind. And... he's not going to do like a completely desperate push towards Lemuria and then just die while giving up all his forts, which is the decision I was having him make. Like, do you want to keep your army in the south and then literally give up everything to your north to like some basically completely unsupported Lemurian army of chaff? And he was starting to kind of say yes by entrenching here, but moving up, it's made it look like he said no. So this army could potentially go on his cap, and it could also potentially go on this fort. Problem is, if it goes on his fort, and he goes on his cap, I've got to, like, haul ass actually to the ocean, and just sit in the freaking ocean with this army to keep them out, because they're going to be kind of trapped up here. So anyway, that's the thing. But anyway, we're going to go just lock this fort down because we can. Velik has... been dodged by the Earth Serpent, and he is now in a very weird situation, because this army... This army has basically a few good moves. One is he could be like, hey, I've left some tasty bait for you here in this province, and there's also a huge PD dump here, probably like 40 or something. So he could be like, surprise, you thought I was going back to my cap, I came back, and so when I send this army in, he fights me with all this PD. So we're not actually going to attack it because fuck that. We'll attack it once he's more than one map move away. So anyway, that's one move these guys could make. The other move is he could be like, well, there's a chance that he's going to attack my capital, so I can move and patrol on my cap. He probably knows I'm not going to do that, but the threat of me doing it is enough where he might feel like he needs to. The other thing is, the move that I'm likely going to do, which the move I am going to do, but he probably also knows I'm going to do it, is move on top of this fort. So I move on top of this fort, I mess up his recruitment, basically put him down to one fort producing mages. He needs to be able to get me off. The only way to get me off is if he moves this army from his cap up here. So I think he's going to move on top of his cap, like move and patrol on his cap. So we're going to put these guys on here, but then the next turn we're going to have to haul ass and get out. But it's a little risky moving the leak here, because an improbable move is he could take this army and move it here, and this army would kill Valik and destroy his gear. And Valik has 25 gems of gear on him. So we wouldn't be very excited about that. But, you know, we'll take this province and we'll chase his Earth Snake around, and yeah. I don't think I have any more Dust Daggers, do I? Oh, I do have one. Shit. What's the morale on these guys? 19? That's pretty good. Shit. Wait. Am I still going to finish? No, I won't. Okay, he actually has to research. If I had a consul or somebody... Can he make it here? Maybe we send him up this way. He could kill the Earth Snake. Ideally, I had a consul here that I could move up there. Like, he would have to be in this province. I could put the Dust Dagger on this guy. I just don't really trust him to not die. I don't want to lose 10 gem Dust Dagger. So anyway, Valik's going to chase this guy around. I expect the Earth Snake's going to move here, and then God knows where it's going to go. But we'll find out. These forts are coming up. The final thing we'll talk about, and then we'll call it for this episode, is my god. So my god, he did Twiceborn on himself last turn because we're preparing for the birds to attack. And I want him... He's going to do Foul Vapors, but he's got poison resistance, so he's probably not going to kill himself. But it's very possible the birds kill him, so we do want him to have Twiceborn. Next thing we're doing is empowering him in Earth. And the reason we're doing that is because he's going to be my ticket to Earth Boots. And once we get him a Starshine Skullcap, he can actually do Crystal Coins, which would be pretty nice for us. So, yeah. We're empowering him in Earth. This turn, Pythium should be sending me 40 fire gems, and I will have finished this turn, as you can see, enchantment 6, which is going to give me Eternal Pyre, and that is going to give us 20 fire gems a month. And I have negotiated with Pythium, because I was going to send him mine and he was going to cast it, but I actually have a higher caster. Well, I was going to send him mine, he was going to cast it, and I was going to get a one-time payout of X number of lanterns. And I told him, like, hey, actually, I probably can cast it before you could. Like, if I didn't send him my gems, my fire gem income's probably higher than his, and I'd probably get to 80 first, and I could trade Agartha for fire gems if I needed to. Like, I could have traded Agartha my Earth for fire, and there's no way Agartha wouldn't have taken it. Or I could trade him Death for fire, and there's no way he wouldn't have taken it. But anyway, we just agreed to put it up together. And so It's better for both of us, I think, to have half the investment and half the income than to fight over it and get a lower return on our investment. So, anyway, the best person to cast it turns out to be me. He has a fire 4, I have a fire 7. And then he has the skull fire booster, not the hat, but the miscellaneous. So he's going to send that to me, and then I'm going to go ahead and put it up. And then every turn, come hell or high water, whether we're at war or at peace, I'm going to send him 10 fire gems. So that's basically that. And that will remain in that agreement will remain in effect until the global comes down. One thing that is kind of weird about it is that I'm planning on using off my porch in combat, and he's going to have a global tied to him, and he's going to be Astral 1. So, you know, potentially, if anybody magic duels, I would lose my global, except he has Twiceborn. Twiceborn will protect my global. But there's a chance that we get feeble-minded. And if we get feeble-minded, even though we have Twiceborn, the global goes down. So, I don't know. It's a risk. Fortunately, I'm going to have coming out this turn an Enchantress. And once I have a few of these, I will have ways to foul vapors without using my god, hopefully. And we'll do that. And then I don't have to use my god for these silly shenanigans. But if it's a really hard army, I'm going to need my god too, because I'll probably put up Heat from Hell and other stuff. Yeah. I think that's it, guys. That's basically all that's happening this turn. The money is pouring in. We're probably the richest nation on the map, which is hilarious. We'll look at graphs real quick. We haven't looked at them in a while. Provinces. This is a good graph. Forts. A very good graph. I think the next player in forts... probably... right here, maybe? That would be high. It might even be here. Income, look at this. Like I've said before, I wish you could overlay like the income of my core territories, which would be like this right now. And this is the income. The only way it's like kept up is I keep conquering as my income drops. So this, while it may not look like a phenomenal income growth, this is like, this is heaven for Lemuria. Gym income, looking mighty fine. This is about to have a big old jump as we put up Eternal Pyre. I have also told Pythium that I will keep it secret that we're in it together on Eternal Pyre. So that'll attract more aggro from me. At some point, I will tell people that Pythium and I are in it together. But I'll probably do that once Pythium has conquered Atlantis. I actually don't want Pythium getting too much heat. Like, basically, I want to look out for the people who are at peace with me, who are major neighbors. So, putting it up will attract some aggro, but I don't think it's going to change much. I'm going to be at war with the same people I'm going to be at war with. I might tell I don't know if I'll need to tell Agartha. We'll have to figure it out. Anyway, there's a point where I'll tell, but I'm not gonna do anything which can cause people to hate on Pythium until he gets his teeth buried into Atlantis. I mean, look, Pythium is, I'm sure, not very excited about me being big. So Pythium, I feel like it's a very tense relationship a little bit. Just with how the game is. Research, phenomenal looking. Dominion, actually coming down the past turn. Not sure what caused that, actually. But that's okay. It's going to start going crazy again once we kill Phlegra. Because our Dominion's going to just pour into Phlegra. Once all their candles are gone. Army size, you can see we lost some troops. Like, we lost all those guys who bumped into Phlegra's, to Bogarus's cap. We lost a few other guys. Drop in the bucket. I went and mathed it out. This turn where we didn't gain much, like where it looks like the angle dropped by like 2/3. How many troops we lost? I think I mathed it out. I think it was like 130 troops that we lost. Which, if 2/3, if our angle went down by 2/3, then that means the 130 is 2/3 of the total. So it means we're probably around like 180 troop production, and now we're probably at like 200 troop production a turn. So that's a lot. Well, another way to look at that is I'm producing 100 siege defense of troops a turn. That's a lot. We're getting to the point now. Like, there's a question, I think, like whether your free spawn is truly free spawn and you can throw them away and not care about it. And how I've been playing Lemuria so far is there have been several occasions where there's some risky move, and I haven't been taking, this was a little risky move going onto the capital. And so this is me like shifting to being more risky. But in general, I have kept my ghosts away from fights. I was pretty sure, that they had a greater than 50% chance of losing. Like, because the enemy would move there and they would bump them. There have been some aggressive moves where like I knew he was invading south and I moved in behind his army, like where he was, where if he stayed still, we would bump and that army would die. But I think those were actually very low probability bumps. But in general, I've been trying to keep my ghosts alive, and I've done a pretty damn good job. I've been keeping my ghosts out of fights. We haven't had a lot of fights that I've lost a lot of ghosts in. At the beginning of the game, your ghosts are a pretty scarce resource, and you really don't want to throw them away. And you can see I've done that. Like, basically conquered Phlegra without having a big fight, and I've been dodging all of Bogarus's big armies with my ghosts, and been trying to use consuls when appropriate, but I was ready to throw away a bunch of ghost lives if I had to. We are getting to the point, though, where with 200, as my Dominion starts getting really high, like here it's 9. Once I get my next temple up, next 2 temples, and I've got both them coming up this turn, I'm going to be at Dom Strength 10. And so it's going to be even more ghost production. But I'm going to have more forts coming up. My Dominion is going to be spreading over these forts I already have built. More forts coming up. We're very quickly going to be at close to, I think, 300 ghost production a turn. Probably within, like, the next few turns. At that point, I really can start throwing away some ghosts. And really risky ventures. What that will mean is the pressure I can put on the map and on different people's provinces will just get bigger. Like with Error, you have enough stuff that you can, with Scaleria, you can hit every province every turn. With Lemuria, you kind of don't want to do that, because if you hit every province every turn, they can put up, appropriate defenses, and they can kill a lot of ghosts every turn. You can't afford to keep having all your ghosts die. But we're getting big enough, and we're getting enough infrastructure where we're going to be able to afford more of that sort of thing. So anyway, the other thing, the final thing is we're sending Imperialists down here, and he is going to claim the throne in the Witherlands. Now, on one hand, I don't want to do it because it's going to attract more aggro. People know probably that I have a fair number of thrones. I don't know all the mutterings of people, but they probably know I have more than 2. And I've mentioned at least to Agartha I have the throne of bureaucracy. I have 4, right? Nobody's been complaining about it in game chat, but I'm definitely, which is odd, because I'm huge, I'm definitely a throne rush threat this game. Like, just thrones that I neighbor. This one I could probably actually take with this army, right? So 1, 2, 3, I would win. Like, that's crazy. That's just nuts to me. So people are going to be waking up to that reasonably soon, I think. That's one of the reasons I don't want to be too aggressive with Lemuria or too aggressive with Atlantis. We'll see. I've been having so much fun this game. I kind of don't want it to end. I kind of don't want to throne rush. But I think if I get a good opportunity, I'll do it. Anyway. I'm not going to try to drag a game out. But there's a lot of bad things that come with Throne Rush. Like, if it doesn't work, I'll do it if I think it will work. If I think it's a high probability chance of winning. The good thing about being in Lemuria is you have a lot of Holy Threes. So it's pretty easy for you to claim thrones quickly. Like, I could have Valik in this army come up here and take this. I could have these guys this turn move over here and take this. I could shuffle this army down here to take this, and I just send somebody to my other throne. And that is going to put me at what I need to win. It's not actually a bad idea. But if I go for this throne, these guys, I mean, look, they're all talking. They'll put 2 and 2 together. The thing is, they would have a difficult time getting me out of the underwater thrones. Like, if I have this guy, these guys with dust daggers against the thrice-horned boar underwater, they would just murder him. The only one that would really be contestable would be this one. And Atlantis can probably sail a bunch of stuff in. Marignan can sail a bunch of stuff in. This would be a really hard one to hold. I'm kind of just trying to talk myself out of it. Because I mean, I am definitely a throne rush threat this game. It's not really my style, though. But if it were my style, this is about the time to go for it. We'll see. Thing is, I've gone so fast. Like, it's turn 28, or turn 30. Look how out of control I am. I'm so big. No signs of stopping. So anyway, the thing I have to figure out is what I'm going to do with Bogarus. Because he's got this big doom stack. And these guys behind the capital PD, especially if he adds more to the PD dump, it's just going to be painful. It's going to be super duper painful. The things that we can kind of do are, we'll have Aerofend. So I can put Aerofend up with any of my Air 2s, which I've got some Air 2s now. Right, so I can prepare for a final push where we do Aerofend, we do Anti-Magic, we do Rear Mortis, we do Heat from Hell, and I can migrate a little cohort of mages to follow like a main army of like 1,000 undead, and we just have our final battle for Bogarus. But in reality, it's going to slow my research down a lot. It's going to be a lot of mage turns marching their ass all the way from one end of my empire to the other. It's going to take a long-ass time. I can teleport them potentially if I get gear. But all for what? I'm going to be at war with Atlantis. And Marignan. I mean, on one hand, it would be good to get rid of these armies. But on the other hand, this is going to be like very far away from my power. Like, where's my power base? My power base is where all my troops come from and where my mages come from. And right now, my mages come from here and here. And this, like, all the way up here. So, ideally, I mean, getting a fire mage up here will be nice. Because that will be something I can do. Do we need you researching? You don't research for much. 78, okay, good. Let's send him over here. He can go ahead and build a lab. The problem is, yeah, this Bogarus is so far away from my power base, it's going to be hard for me to get mages over here to actually have this, like, death battle with Bogarus. And then once I have the death battle, then what does that accomplish me? Like, I get some land which is going to be really hard for me to defend for a good long while. I think what makes more sense is following the path of least resistance. And right now, following the path of least resistance is going to mean instead of committing all my armies up here to finish off Bogarus, which, by the way, would be polite of me, because once you've beaten somebody, it's kind of rude to just leave them hanging out in the game. They're going to end up doing their turn. You know, nobody wants to be this player who's, like, completely abused and been eaten by, like, 3 of their neighbors. It's just not fun, right? So once you get to this stage, you want to kind of quickly die. The problem is he's got these big armies. It's not really worth it for me to deal with him. The income from his cap, I don't really need that much. Easier for me to just kind of raid him and keep him small and then go over here and raid somebody else. And then I think we have Gath over here sieging this. I think Arco's going to fall, and then I can vulture off them some. And then I'll come over here and fuck with Calum. And meanwhile, I'll get some of my key research online, like Darkness, and, well, Solar Eclipse first, and then Darkness, and then all my super combatant stuff and Alteration and Construction. So, but anyway, I've got to make a decision. I can't take this army and just move it up. But I really don't want to. Thing is, especially if it costs, because fighting this is going to cost me at least like 400 ghosts. I think at a minimum. So then I do that, but then what am I going to have to deal with Atlantis? I'd kind of rather have 1,000 army running around here that just is going to keep all these guys from ever actually making progress on taking the stuff I've gotten. Rather than, like, spend half of it, so it's gone. Have a bit more land, but then not really have the resources to defend it. So we'll see. We're getting a lot more ghosts. If I've got 2,000 armies, it'll be worth expending one of them to get Bogarus out of the game. But it also might be worth it to just go kill Marignon with it too. I don't know, because killing Marignon, like, there's a lot more money to gain over here than there is to gain up here. So we'll see where this army goes, but first thing we're going to do is probably take this back. If I can fight this army in a PD dump of mine, then I'll probably do it. So we'll see. I really don't know how this is all going to play out, guys. But right now I'm getting pulled in a lot of directions. I'm having to send a lot of my troops here. I'm finishing off this stuff. There's a draw, like a gravity well, pulling me towards Bogarus, but I think I'm going to fight it and send most of my troops over here towards Marignon that are on this front. And then if things start going south and I start shedding some of my peripheral land, I don't really care. Don't really care. And then we'll have Eternal Pyre going up next turn. So, and then I'll be able to basically, I think of the fire gems I want to give to Pythium to make me lanterns. And that way, Pythium, I don't think he'll overcast me. Yeah, I don't think so. But anyway, I might be able to get him to make me lanterns for like 4 a turn. Or 4 per lantern. That'll give him 1 profit with a hammer. I don't know if he'll be game for that. Or maybe 5, where he just gets 2 profit as a hammer. It's safer doing that with Pythium than with Agartha, because Agartha might try to steal Eternal Pyre from me. But Pythium has much less incentive to try to steal it. Which, by the way, I think would be okay in our agreement. I think Pythium could steal it from me if he got more gems, but it would be kind of a lot of investment for not a lot of payout, and it would, make me less inclined to do those sorts of things with him in the future. Anyway, I think that's it, folks. Hope you're enjoying the series. I'm having fun, but the game's heating up. I know this was a long episode, so thanks for hanging in there with me. Cheers.